keep it real. I keep it real. I keep it real. Just keep it real.
Hey guys, it's Sam Hartman, keeping it real estate with Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group. And today I've got the Coldwell Banker president of the affiliates, Mr. Jason Waugh, with us today. Jason, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining me for this short conversation as we are a few weeks out from the Empower stage where you will be joining our entire company. Welcome to my little podcast, and thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure, Sam. Really excited about the Empower event and appreciate you having me today.
Yeah, now this is you returning to the stage. You were pretty freshly minted as the president of Coldwell Banker last year when you joined us. So coming into Empower last year, into this new role, how has your kind of goals and outlook for the position changed over this last year? Or, what have you been able to kind of execute on that you kind of came in with the goals of in the last year?
Yeah, well, it's really interesting because I knew a lot about Coldwell Banker just being around the business for 30 plus years, but I really didn't know the inner workings of the brand, and more importantly, the people that make up the brand. And so I've spent the past year really better understanding the culture, and couldn't be more excited about the decision I made, 13, 14 months ago, and the opportunity over the last 12, 13 months. And really one thing that the team's really focused on is how do we continue to make this, what I refer to as the most iconic brand in real estate? How do you make this large network feel smaller and more engaged and more connected than it can be? I mean, because that's we're an international and domestic network. And I think there's a really rich opportunity to make a large network feel smaller than it truly is. And so it's opportunities like this. And so thank you for having me back to Empower. It was an unbelievable experience last year. It was a highlight of the year, and super excited that, at least I earned an opportunity to be invited back again.
Or at least they gave you grace because you were so freshly minted.
That's like, probably more the case.
Well, you bring up a great point. Coldwell Banker, globally is this renowned real estate brand. And then we have at our local affiliate level, the real estate group part of it. And then we've got all of us real estate brokers and agents all across the Midwest, boots on the ground, doing the work. So Empower, if our agents have never been to Empower, this is exactly what Jason just said. This is the opportunity to make this large company feel small. It's a chance for us to get together, collaborate, train, celebrate our successes. And if you've never been before, it really truly shows the breadth of the support that you have as an agent, because we can get so hyper focused on our local market and our day-to-day running our own personal business that sometimes we lose sight of that support. We lose sight of that kind of upper chain of command. So with that, Jason, here you are at the global Coldwell Banker franchise network. How do you view that relationship, with Coldwell Banker supporting the affiliate of Real Estate Group and Real Estate Group supporting the realtors who are boots on the ground? How do you kind of see that relationship coming down?
There's multiple relationships. On the one hand, you could say, okay, there's a real client relationship, right? Ultimately, Real Estate Group is our customer, and then the agents are the customer of the Real Estate Group. I also tend to view it that relationship is interconnected. We're business partners. And so how do we continue to strengthen that business partnership so we can create the ultimate real estate experience for the consumer? And so those three parties, meaning Coldwell Banker as the enterprise, Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group as the brokerage, and then the individual or teams at the real estate professional level. How do the three really partner together to attract clients, retain clients, and ultimately deliver the best-in-class real estate experience for every buyer and seller? I mean, that's, as about as simple as I see the relationship, and it's I guess I should say it's not simple, it's hard, but ultimately I believe there's a shared vision with the consumer experience being the end result. And so how do we all parties really effectively partner together to deliver that? And for Real Estate Group and Caldwell Banker, how do we create that platform and that system and that community for all of our real estate professionals to achieve their goals and be successful and live the lives that they envision for themselves?
I love to hear that, because what I hear in that statement, what jumps out to me is what's good for the customer is good for us. You know, what's good for the end user, putting people in homes, helping people make transitions. I mean, ultimately, if we're fulfilling their needs and satisfying their needs, I mean, everyone is winning up the chain of command. So I love that is, you know, where the mindset of the absolute top of the top leadership brass to Coldwell Banker is coming from. I love to hear that, Jason.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I talk oftentimes about, when I ask people, what business do you think we're in? And, you know, it's easy to say we're in the real estate business. You know, I challenge that thinking. I believe we're in the car business. Now, I'm a big acronym person. Now, car, I'm not referring to auto sales. CAR stands for client attraction and retention. That's the business we're in. It's a relationship business. So everything that we're focused on from the top and to cascade down is, how do we help our folks attract clients, retain clients, and just have this great repeat and referral business that ultimately, you know, delivers a supreme real estate experience for the consumer. So agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I just was with a client the other day, and, you know, they apologized to me because I was missing out, if you will, on a related deal with them. But I told them, like, I'm not in the transaction business. I'm in the relationship business. If that was the right fit for you and you're being represented well, I even offered my services to make sure I reviewed contracts and gave them my opinions of things. My goal is for them to have a great fuzzy feeling about me and the end result that they receive. And sometimes that results in a closing. Sometimes it doesn't. So
Right.
you know, that's just the business that we're in, is giving of ourselves to, you know, with the hope and expectation that one day it'll return to us in the business. So
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Car. So I want to touch on, I think, you know, a new president, a new CEO, people might wonder where you come from. They might wonder if you understand what we're going through on a day-to-day basis. And I think your history all the way back to childhood helps give you a unique perspective of what we as realtors and brokers on boots on the ground are going through day to day. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I celebrated my 50th birthday in May. And
Happy birthday.
I appreciate that. And I share that because I've been around the business for 42 years. I've been a licensed broker for 31, I'll be 32 this next summer. So I grew up in and around it. Father was a broker. We owned our own brokerage. And so I've done everything from, you know, sales to office management to president to broker owner to selling the company to then running a part of the country for another company, and then ultimately here. So there is actually not one piece of this business. I don't care if it's answering the phones at the corporate office to hosting open houses, listings, representing buyers, corporate calling for our relocation and business development. That was one thing my father, he recruited me back to the organization because I actually, after law school, I pursued another industry, and he worked on me for a number of years. And it took us 6 months to negotiate my contract. So he probably regretted actually recruiting me back. But he made he was very firm in, just because we share the same last name doesn't mean you're entitled to running or owning this company. You have to experience at every level the business. And so that's what we did. And so my path, I think now fast forward all these years and decades later, I think that journey served me well, because I can empathize with what our entire network is going through, whether it's the real estate professional, whether it's the broker owner, whether it's the office manager. Every corner of the business, I've had personal exposure and experience either performing or leading through. And then also that period of time, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 was historically great. Then 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12 was historically tough. And then, then we had a great decade, and now we're navigating another one. So, that kind of history and experience, is tough to replicate. It comes with time. And so I guess I'm privileged to have been in and around what I believe is the greatest business that there is long enough that I think I bring a certain empathy to what we all go through on a daily basis.
Did you kind of always feel that way? Because I got to be honest, I looked at my dad and figured one day I'd probably be in sales, but I never thought I'd be selling consumer packaged goods like my dad did. Was that something at a young age that you looked at the business and thought that this was something that you want to do? I've got a young family. I want to set a good example. I want them to participate in my business over the years. But how did you feel about that at a young age?
Yeah, I loved the business from the get-go. My very first listing appointment when I was 19 years old, you would think was a layup. It was my aunt and uncle. I go into it, I'm prepared, I'm suited up, I got all the CMAs and all that. And it was a 6-hour listing presentation that honestly I didn't know if I was going to get. But I loved the challenge, I loved the interaction, I loved the research. And ironically, I was in the sports management business after law school, and we represented exclusively pro football players. Well, imagine, the parallels between the real estate business and that business. It was all about building relationships and rapport, whether it was with athletes or their families or their coaches, and going into markets and communities that you don't look the same, you have no real commonality, but it's about building genuine and sincere relationships. And then when you're negotiating athletes contracts, it's almost like comping a house, right? I've got this client that, is 5 years in the league. He's only missed 2 games. He's made 3 Pro Bowls. And so he's worth, X. It's kind of the same sort of thought process or skill set in what we do as real estate professionals. So a lot of parallels across all industries. That's why I think that there's just so many transferable skills. It does not really matter what industry you're in. What matters the most, what separates success and struggle, is how you show up mentally, your attitude, your perspective. I talk oftentimes about MAP, mindset, attitude, perspective. Our internal map is really what separates success and struggle.
That's awesome. And I love that you touched on your past career of sports management, representing NFL players. I played college football myself. The fact that you went from a life in real estate to then touching the NFL world in a way, and then you went back to real estate, like you were living the dream to me, brother. Like that says something about the real estate industry, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And but in the end, I think what you're saying, and it's kind of what I always, I graduated college in 2009. You mentioned the real estate market in 2009. Yeah. The job market wasn't good for much else at that time either.
Right.
So I went out into the business world just wanting to make a dip, just wanting to be seen as an expert and a valuable resource to people, and really planning to sell myself that way. If I can give value and be a valuable resource to people, I'll make money somehow. I didn't know if it was what sales industry it would be in, but 12 years ago, I ended up finding real estate, and I've never looked back. And
yeah,
you mentioned that first listing consultation with your aunt and uncle.
Yeah,
that has been one of my favorite things about my real estate career. Is you're mostly working with people like, trust in some way. You always look for those new avenues of business too, but to get to be seen as a professional by the people that have known me since I was in diapers, and to have their trust and to have their respect to help them in that way was such a big boost to me, and to be seen by my family members in that way. So I think that's cool that was your first opportunity. And like you said, being able to empathize with with what we go through every day, because you're going on, you said 31, going on 32 years with a license. You've seen some good, you've seen some bad, and it all comes back down to that attitude, that mindset. And
and then, and you're right, Sam. And it is because it's controlling your controllables and your mindset, attitude, perspective, because there will always be opportunity in real estate. We may have to create new opportunities and different opportunities and pursue different opportunities, but there's always going to be an opportunity. You just sometimes you gotta work harder at it than other markets in certain market conditions, but there will always be enough opportunities if you show up in the right way and you're enthusiastic about the opportunity to help people. I think enthusiasm and effort really, trumps skill when it, kind of the rubber meets the road.
Jason, are you familiar with the ninja selling system?
Yeah, very.
You're speaking from the playbook, and this is, again, just a message to our realtors. If you haven't been to Empower, if you haven't been to a ninja training, these are things that our Coldwell Banker affiliate, the largest Coldwell Banker affiliate in the world. Fact check me, Jason. Is that right? Still
very good. There's two of you that are neck and neck every year.
Oh, all right. So almost probably the largest Coldwell Banker affiliate in the world. These are our systems and resources that the company is empowering us with. And so if you haven't taken advantage of those, I highly encourage you to add that to your 2025 business plan and goal plan, to participate in Empower, to participate in the ninja trainings that we do on weekly basis, but also doing a full training throughout the year as well, because it's exactly to the point of what Jason is talking about: the mindset, the attitude, the skill sets that you need to be successful in real estate, regardless of what is happening in the market. So,
and this would be a good time, Sam, if you'll let me interject this. I mean, I have to applaud yourself, and certainly starts with the Predells, and then Patrick, and all the leaders throughout Reg to make this investment, to even host Tommy, to host Empower, is really your investment in our sales professionals. And I applaud you all for doing that, because it really is a commitment to helping people achieve what they want to achieve in this business and in their life. So again, I applaud from Ed and Mike and all the Predells, all the way down to yourself and Tommy and Patrick and everybody, for just even offering this fantastic growth opportunity to your team. It's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for saying that, because we are truly blessed at Coldwell Banker Real Estate Group with our leadership teams from top to bottom, our in-office staff, all the way up to Mike at the tippy top. We are so appreciative and blessed to be in this industry and to be a part of this company. And again, just another plug: if you guys have never been to Empower, or if you're thinking and kicking around, if you want to go to Empower this year, I encourage you. It's such a great opportunity to see the bigger picture of what we are a part of in this real estate journey, in this real estate market, to see where we stand from the company at the top to the bottom. So Jason's going to be there speaking from the stage again. Jason, thank you so much for your time today. I want to finish with this, because during my research, I looked you up on Facebook and I saw you wearing a Washington Huskies ball cap. Are you a big Washington fan?
Well, so I am a Penn State football fan. That's where my allegiance is. But my wife is a UW graduate.
Okay.
We live in the greater Seattle area. So I'm an adopted Washington Huskies fan through marriage. But State, we are Penn State's my football team.
Well, hey, I'm here in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We've got down to the south, we've got our Indiana Hoosiers coming to the playoff. Up north, we've got Notre Dame. One of them's going to make it to the second round, so we're going to be hunting for some Nittany Lions, hopefully, here in the near future.
Yeah, it's actually really cool to see both those programs. I mean, Freeman's a great coach, obviously a renowned program there at Notre Dame, and that's a plug for Patrick. But it's really cool to see Indiana and the year that they've had, and their head coach was won Coach of the Year last night at the College Football Awards, which was cool to see. And so it's been an exciting year. Where did you play college ball at?
So I played Division III in Indiana. It's a small school called Trine University.
Okay.
But my journey, my freshman year, we went 0-10, and my senior year, we went 10-0. Wow. So I was texting my football coach the other day, telling him that Kurt Signetti is the Matt Land of Division I football, because my coach did it long ago before Kurt did. But
awesome.
I mean, I didn't want to cover too much football, but with your background in football, I'll go there for just 1 second. Kurt Signetti, seeing what he's done, every interview you see him have, they ask about how the change, how quickly the change, how did this happen? The way he rattles off his philosophy. You got to have a philosophy, a model, a game plan. I mean, he was so practiced in and so consistent with his messaging. You just know he's drilling that into the team day after day. And I think we in real estate can learn a lot from that, because if you kind of go through your day-to-day business of, what am I going to do today? What is there to do? Let's wake up and see what I can do today. You're going to flounder. To have that structure, to have that direction, I think no matter whether it's a sports team or a real estate business, is so important to really know where you're pointed to, and get where you want to go.
Yeah. I listened to his interview last night and agree with you 100%. He talked a lot and always talks a lot about the process. They have a process and they trust the process and they execute the process and they hold their people accountable to the process. And, over time, it's just the results. And you think about our business, I know there's days and times that we doubt ourselves. Are we doing the right things? Are we investing in the right ways? Are we investing in the right activities? You have to trust the process. And at some point, the results are just going to materialize because you've executed and you've been disciplined in the process. So, you're right. I mean, that's why I think that, there's so many disciplines are transferable across industries, business, sports, entertainment. Doesn't really matter what it is. Very transferable practices. So.
All right, Jason. Well, I took enough of your time. I hope we didn't, give away your whole speech that you're going to have at Empower, but hopefully we just kind of gave a taste of what's going to be coming. I really look forward to seeing all of our agents at Empower in the Chicagoland area. January 7th is your deadline to register. And Jason, I'm really looking forward to meeting you in person and shaking your hand at Empower this year. Looking forward to seeing you talk.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Sam. You and your family, especially those 1-year-old twins, happy holidays. Hope you have a great Christmas, and we'll see you in a few months.
All right. Right back at you. Thanks for the time, Jason.
All right, bud. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
I keep it real. Just keep it real.